And we're back. 1985. This might be the last time I do a Color Bars, because the next time I do another Saturday morning, you'll probably see an infomercial of some type. But this will probably be the last time you see the Color Bars with some classical music. And yeah, we're going to see some finales of sorts. Super Friends finale, finale to Scooby-Doo. And some Ewoks, droids, some Star Wars. You know, the first time they did some cartoons, right? Outside of the Boba Fett cartoon for the holiday special. So some things are ending and some things are beginning. This is the last year, I think, before the real Ghostbusters and some of the Disney stuff. I would tune on to other channels like CBS in '88 and some NBC in 1990. But yeah, I thought we enjoyed this little last part of the first of the traditional Saturday mornings. And let's see, what were the toys I collected at this time? Masters of the Universe, Marvel's Secret Wars. But speaking of Marvel, I thought let's do an honorable mention before we get into the ABC cartoons here.
Man and his amazing friends, Ice and Firestar.
Yep. What a different time this was.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
More than the Incredible Hulk, this is the cartoon I remember the most. I think it's the only Spider-Man team-up media ever. I don't think I ever saw another Spider-Man team-up series. Everything you saw was like Spider-Man 94, Spectacular Spider-Man. Well, no, there was the MTV Spider-Man, but that was based on the movie. That was kind of like off-canon with Neil Patrick Harris as Spider-Man. But there was never a team-up show other than this. So it was kind of fun to see. It looked like Mary Jane, isn't it? Firestar. I kept calling her Firestorm, but it's an easy mistake. I was a kid. So let's go back to Color Bars. And we shall start with the first cartoon. Hopefully I can find the intro for this. If not, we'll find the other one.
Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour.
At the lights, this is it. And oh, what heights. So you know, they know every part by heart. We know every part by heart. This needs no introduction, but in case it does, it's the Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny Hour. This is not the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show formally, even though it's all the same thing, right? And this is like the ABC debut, television debut, because it was on CBS. There was the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner, which I did show you that one. I couldn't find the 85, but I think it would start to get into the Tweety show. But they were doing reruns all the time. I mean, it used to be in theaters, right? Used to watch it in a movie theater. I still remember the scene where Sylvester's trying to tell Porky Pig that there's a ghost, and he hangs himself with the rope to show that some cat's getting hung or some, I don't remember what it was. Some of those scenes were graphic. You would hear things like Cotton Pickin' Minute. You would see all kinds of just some vulgar language, and it's just. Nowadays, it's not. I mean, we as kids, the 45-year-olds, we used to watch some of this stuff. It was like that's just the way it was. So I might show a little bit of the later versions, but I mean, obviously, these are just recycled cartoons for the '80s. And I think the last time we saw Bugs Bunny or a traditional cartoon was The Iceman Cometh, and then there were like Daffy Duck, Speedy Gonzales cartoons. And then you saw just a little bit, like Yosemite Sam is Scrooge. And that wasn't much. It was just these 80s specials. And then you would have these cartoons here. Let's see if we can find that PSA that I've been trying to find here. Now that the PSA I'm going to try to find, I do remember that one.
Don't knock it Kids think it's great. Why don't you try a smorgasbord dinner?
Just step on him. Just step on him, and he doesn't have any bones.
Don't knock it till you try it. Eating can be fun with little bites.
You touch the food, so now he can't eat it. Now he can't try it. Anyway. Yep, this is more of Time for Timer. Oh, that's the, hold on. Let's see. Hopefully we get some different commercials. Aha! Oh yeah, Fisto! There you go. That's when the kids had to act out their stuff. It's before Skyrim. Yep.
Oh yeah, freeze, Robile! I said freeze!
No. Dragon Blaster Skeletor. How about that? How about that? I didn't get the Terror Claws when I was a kid.
Alan, drink your Ovaltine. It has
Fuck
vitamin
yeah, I ain't gonna drink shit.
Well, you won't have to. It's got a new chocolatey taste.
Now just swear. They started swearing and stuff. You gotta do the 80s dance. This is when they had more energy in the 80s, right? See, the 70s was about mellow and quiet, slow, right? And then when you get to the 80s, everything had energy to it. Everything had energy to it. Yeah, you could do that. Sure you can. Just jump around on your handlebars. Popsicles, fudgesicles. I mean, they still sell popsicles. Oh my god. What the fuck is going on? Yep. The 80s theme. Creamsicles. Oh yeah. Just take me, da, 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 da. Yeah, they're doing all the parodies of all the popular album stuff, whatever. We'll skip this one and let's go to the next cartoon, please. This one. Get out, away from that super battle droid. Yep. It's a pod race. Gotta get out of there. Yes. This is actually 50 Lucasfilm. Yeah, this is a more reissue, but this is from the cartoon. I swear now, if you look it up on Wikipedia, you'd see the Ewoks and Droids adventure, but I can remember that this damn cartoon was on first and then the Ewoks, because I would always miss this cartoon. There's supposed to be two sort of Mohawk biker-looking dudes from the 80s that would join them, and I never saw them. They didn't get any cameos in Star Wars Rebels, which would have been cool. So it's what did you think it is? It's R2-D2 and C-3PO going on adventures through space during the time of the Empire. I don't know if it would have been cool for Dave Filoni to have done an episode that was kind of traditional like that. I know they were in Rebels, but they didn't get to do a whole lot. So we didn't have a lot of media outside the three movies except for the holiday special, the Ewoks cartoon, the Ewoks movies. And then there was just a kind of a dead period in between. You wouldn't see anything unless you count the Dark Horse comics. I would love to know a fan's perspective on the Dark Horse comics, having read those comic books and then watching the prequels. I bet you he had a different perspective than most people who hated Jar Jar Binks. Let's show you the other one. Run, he's gonna eat ya. Oh yes, a lovely image. So I mean, this kind of goes along with the Smurfs. There were other like Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm trying to think of other ones right now. Dragon's Lair. This is sort of the fantasy stuff. They could do all kinds of fantasy things because it's fantasy elements. It's Endor, right? And you never saw the Ewoks ever again after the second Ewoks movie. They never touched the Ewoks ever again. Not George Lucas, not Kathleen Kennedy, nobody. It would have been nice to have seen Wicket team up with Ahsoka, right? Would you want Wicket and Ahsoka to team up and fight Mandalorian? I don't know. Yeah, I would always wake up late in the morning and see this cartoon instead of Droids. So this was like the first cartoon I wake up and see because everything was like at 7 o'clock in the morning, way early. I mean, sometimes like in the fall, you wake up at 6 or 7. It's still nighttime looking. That's how it was. I have a long memory. I mean, cartoons were on the weekdays. You had the Flintstones, you had Groovy Ghoulies, and then you had Disney afternoon cartoons. You had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. You had Zelda. Cartoons were everywhere when I was a kid. And that was before the All-Star Cartoon Stars to the Rescue, which we'll cover at a future point. But for now, I just wanted to show you the innocence of my childhood with these different cartoons. Let's go to commercials, I think. This is when the 50s was becoming the 80s. Oh my God, how aggravating. High C. This is the first kind of High C. This is my exposure to High C. I always think of this shit when I think of High C. Fruit roll-ups. Yep. Fruit fucking roll-ups. I think of the Meatballs theme. Remember the Meatballs theme where the kids would sing the theme?
Now there's even more fun in fruit roll-ups. A fruit
8
roll
rolls.
is marker.
Oh, look, you get a... Yeah, I remember those. Try to open it up today. The crayon would be dry. Yep, that's Frank Welker. Yep. Aha. Where'd he go? The Sogmaster did it. The Sogmaster did it. This is when you have to care about your favorite cereal mascots. The Sogmaster. They used to do this kind of shit all the time. Where Lucky the Leprechaun would get the colors mixed up. The white whale marshmallow. Oh, let's see this. This is... Aha. Princess of Power. Yeah, I just have the one from Comic-Con. And you can brush the hair. Let's go to the final Super Friends cartoon. There you go, action figures galore. The Galactic Guardians. If you're old enough to remember these, good for you, we can be friends. And these are the Super Friends. Oh, look at all these different action figures. And, it was at a time when He-Man, the Masters of the Universe were selling toys, so I guess they were going to sell toys too. There were no Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. There was no Jan and Zaina, and Gleek, nothing like that. But you must recall all these. Yeah, I remember most of these, just about every single one. I lost one of these a long time ago. Who's this guy? Golden Pharaoh. These are the more rare ones. Cyclone Spin. He's a robot. Cyclotron. I don't remember. Some of these I do not remember. I remember Plastic Man. He's got the stretching neck. And then there's Mr. Freeze. There's Shazam. And here's more. There's the Hall of Justice. I don't know if the Hall of Justice was an actual thing. I do remember the Batmobile. I do have that carrier, what you see back there is an action figure carrying case. I do have that. but I have very few figures. Let's look at a couple of commercials concerning the Superpowers team.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers collection. Superpowers figures with power action, each sold separately.
There's no power to build.
Yep, when you squeeze the legs, the arms move, right?
And Batman.
I got like the dominoes that they put up there.
Brainiac's power action. And each comes with a mini comic.
The
I
Superpowers
forgot about
collection,
those mini
Superman,
comics.
Brainiac, Hawkman, and other figures with power action, each sold separately, new from Kenner. Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers collection. Oh no, Green Lantern's trapped in Penguin and Brainiac's mind machine. Batman and Hawkman stop this evil. Batman's punch is ineffective, and a power action kick to boot.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkman is
Yeah, every figure did something.
Can Superman defeat this deadly duo? You decide. Kenner's new Superpowers
You
collection
decide.
with power action, each sold
Batty or
separately with
goody?
its own mini-comic.
They aired this one time. One time they aired this on TV, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
It's free offers. For 5 troops to purchase from any of these guys sold separately, like Superman, you get a free figure. Not yet available in any store. My buddy Clark Kent. And check it out. Acting just like Superman. Superman. Hurry, offer will end.
I remember this so well.
What? Superman?
And wouldn't you know it, I actually have. There it is. That's it. I don't think he, let me see. Barely functions. Barely functions. Yeah, that's the Clark Kent action figure. I think it goes maybe at most 100, but not that much. I mean, not super valuable. But yeah, I got that at a swap meet. Sometimes it pays to go to the swap meet. You know what I mean? It really does. But I do remember that commercial, and they did not air that one very often. Not very often at all. So let's return. Let's actually look at a Schoolhouse Rock, if it's okay.
Conjunction, junction,
Freezers and clauses.
conjunction, junction. How's that function?
It's an additive like this and that. But that's sort of the opposite. Not this, but that. Right?
Hey, that's nice.
Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or two. He's poor but honest, sad but true. You are at least say please. I'm gonna get you there if you're very careful.
Now, this is the most catchiest one, the most memorable one of all the Grammar Rock.
To get you there if
You're very careful.
Conjunction,
Yeah.
junction. What's your function?
So long ago.
there if you're very careful.
The demon chest.
Ah, yes.
Unlocking the 13 ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
That is Vincent Price there. We'll get into that in a minute.
You'll love it.
Friday at 8:30, 7:30 Central. Join Tony
That's
Danza.
good old Dick Clark.
Schoolhouse Rock is brought to you by McDonald's. Ronald McDonald in
Cre-
Cream Breakfast.
They still made more of these funny cartoon ones.
Time for breakfast, Birdie.
Oh boy, hotcakes.
Hoppin' McHotcakes.
They still had the. I'm not used to those. The voice actor for Ronald. Well, not even voice actor, the performer.
It's a good time. Ronald's dreams at an end. It's a good time. Breakfast
Sounds like King Moody almost.
good time. For the great A taste dream come true. of McDonald's.
No, there was a different voice performer.
For more of The Super Friends. Next.
So many different commercials. 77. That was the.
This is
That was a different one.
Goldilocks may not have known it, but she was really looking for the Four Bears Water Park in Utica, Michigan.
After these commercials, we'll get to the 13
And
Ghosts.
so will you. And those exciting bumper boats, the Can-Am miniature race cars. The
Oh, wait,
big
they still have stuff like this somewhere.
White sandy beaches, private picnic area, or if you prefer the Honey Bear.
I'm sure it's
restaurant.
summertime, so
Four
people
Bears
got to get out and do
Water
stuff
Park
like this.
between Ryan and DeQuinder.
Come on, get out and do
10
stuff
to
like
10
this,
Sunday
right?
to Thursday, 10 to 11
Is
Friday
this
and
still out
Saturday.
there?
The Four
I have
Bears
no
Water
fucking
Park
clue.
afloat. Ask Goldilocks. Maid from the Jeffersons cleans up at a new address Monday night at 7:30 on 7.
Don't miss the legendary Super Friends in exciting action-packed adventures. We continue
That stuff happened all the time.
of good versus evil.
That's 80s Lex Luthor.
Living mortals, that whosoever opens this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth.
That's Boomerang, but, you know. There's
Only you
Vincent Price, sir.
to the chest. Why else? Because you let them out. The 13 ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
You know, as a kid, these cartoons ran into each other in my mind because I really didn't remember much about them. Daphne looked different for some reason. She had different hair, different outfit. Shaggy wore orange. Then there was still Scrappy-Doo. And I think Heather Nort did both Flim Flam and Daphne. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to all the voice actors here. The only people that are still alive is Frank Welker and whoever did Scooby-Doo in the 2000s. Gray DeLis, Gray DeLis. And then there's Matthew Lillard does a great voice. He does wonderful stuff. I mean, I don't understand why people hate Scrappy-Doo. It's like you're supposed to hate Scrappy-Doo, but that's the way it is. And they only captured 12 ghosts. And the 13th ghost was like later on. They didn't invite Scrappy-Doo for nothing. They didn't invite him for shit. So this was the last one before they did a pup named Scooby-Doo, which was in '88. And that was like a whole different thing. And you wouldn't see Scooby-Doo again until Cartoon Network. But this was the last, kind of in a series on ABC. And this one and the Superpowers or Super Friends. So let's see. Shall we look at a last series of commercials? Well, no, let's actually, before I do that, here once again is The Littles. Does The Littles Don't Stop. I don't remember Zuroni. I remember Pac-Man, Chef Boyardee with, what is it? One had meatballs and one had cheese sauce.
Wavy macaroni tastes great. Yeah, and good for us. Tomorrow, ABC's in 1, 2, 3.
That's the cheese sauce.
For the fun of.
They don't make that anymore, I think, cheese sauce. Remember when Franco-American was the one that made SpaghettiOs? For fuck's sake, no more. Oh, Jesus, I'm glad they don't make these kinds of commercials anymore. All right, we'll end it on this commercial, and then we'll show a couple more things here. Yep. Are they going to re-release this for Mattel? Is Mattel going to re-release this? We can see Light Hope and all that. Probably doubt it.
This is ABC.
Oh yeah. Show what you can do. The case the frosted flakes brings out the tiger in you. Don't go river rafting unless you know absolutely what the fuck you're doing. Yep.
The Love Boat, Monday at 4.
Ah, they still aired The Love Boat, that's right, in the 80s. Computer graphics, early time.
O.G. Reedmore here.
And Vincent Price.
We're here to introduce today's ABC Weekend Special, Part 2 of The Ghost of Thomas Kent.
It's a chilling tale about a poltergeist based on this book by Penelope Lively.
This is one of the few times that Vincent Price, because I remember he did Mystery on PBS or KCET, and then he did it for a while, and then Diana Riggs from the Avengers, you know, John Steed and Emma Peel, yeah, Diana Riggs took over. It looks like a 70s show there. Yeah, but so Vincent Price did the early to mid 80s. I think 87 was the last time he did Mystery And then he got sick. And then the last time we saw him was in Edward Scissorhands, of course.
My name is James Harrison. Recently, my
This
father, mother,
whistling
sister, and I
noise.
moved into a new...
The very 80s again. There's Dick Clark again.
Oh, are you ready?
No, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is.
American Bandstand.
Almost thought it wasn't him for a moment. Oh, yeah, the 80s groove. There's no Joe Jackson music stepping out.
We'll find out why in a second. Take one step back and rate
Raider
this
record.
by Casino Around My Dreams.
I think Soul Train outlived this.
Technology, the latest design, and
Looks
we'll
cheap,
be
but
back
whatever.
on American Bandstand right after this word. And this is Quarter Flash.
Who is that? Gotta have that 80s saxophone there. All right, let's wrap it up here before we get copyright claimed. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did trying to make it. Not as memorable as the earlier years, but I definitely had, I mean, I guess I was always more curious about the first set of years. So next week, I might fast forward a year or two. I may not look through it. Definitely will focus on the real Ghostbusters and Slimer and some of the CBS cartoons like Garfield and Friends and all that. We'll see how that goes. And we'll definitely focus on the all-star cartoon stars to the rescue. I'll give you my perspective on that. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Tell your friends. And until next time, next Saturday.